All right, the Braves are back on the road after just one game at Doran Park, and they're back in Cotuit with another matchup with the Kettleers. Welcome to a pregame Tomahawk Talk. Calvin Christoforo, Reeves Jackson, and Daniel Coates. And Daniel, last time the Braves were here, it only went about 4 innings. The Bravos were, in fact, trailing, though, 5-3. The rain kind of put a damper on that game and ended it. Didn't end as an official game, but the Braves seem to be struggling a bit against the Kettleers in that first matchup. What did you see in that game, and how can the Braves kind of, flip the page from that today?
Well, the last time we were here at Lowell Park, we saw the only trailing situation that we got into through the entirety of the season. That game was obviously canceled, but back here today, we want to see the bats kind of wake up a bit. It was the first time really since the Hyannis Harbor Hawks game opener, or home opener I should say, that we saw the bats die, and we were getting on base mostly through the 7+ walks that we saw from the pitching staff yesterday at Doran Park. So really got to get the bats going. Can't get off to a trailing situation early on. Need to get that lead. I think that's huge for the Braves, just confidence-wise, to get a few runs on the board early on.
Yeah, I think so too. And last night, Reeves, was the first time this team really faced any adversity all season. They were trailing 6-1, but here came the Gatemen. They came battling back, made it 6-5. They had the game-tying run at third base with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. What did you see to the Braves last night on how they can handle adversity?
Well, it can only serve them well in the future, because obviously when you have comfortable leads all season long, and then when you finally get into a bit of adversity that you're not used to having all season, in the later part of the season when games matter even more than they do now, that can really hurt you. So for the Braves to have that situation with as much adversity as they did in a tight game with just a 1-run lead heading into the 9th, especially with the bases loaded. But for Vreeland, he had 2 runners on with nobody out, with runners on the corners. It can only serve the team well to play under a 10 situation, so obviously that helped them. And today, Nick Zawak, who pitched in that opener against Hyannis, picked up the win, pitched 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, struck out 6, and he led the team in strikeouts at Xavier in 2021. So hoping to pick up where he left off after his first game against Hyannis, where he picked up the win, was player of the game for the Bourne Braves.
And Nick Zawak put on a clinic 4 scoreless innings in that win against Hyannis. So Daniel, we talked about the bats kind of slowing down for the past couple of games. So is that the key for tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to get off to a lead, I said that was my key in the last game against Cotuit that was canceled. One of the guys I really want to see is Caden Wallace. He went 0 for 3. He did have an RBI sac fly to right field. So situational hitting, another important and strength for the Bourne Braves this entirety of the season. But yeah, they weren't doing what they're used to doing in the batter's box. They did get on and take advantage of some wild pitching from the Wareham Gatemen, but with the guys like Kyler Fedko and Reggie Crawford out of the lineup, there seemed to be some struggles in the middle parts. I still love Tanner Schobel at the 9 spot and Joe Lampe at the 1 spot, but the middle of the lineup is something that might have to change a little bit. Would love to see them really get off to a good start today.
I think it's going to be very important against a Cotuit team, Reeves, who we know can hit the baseball and is coming off a shutout loss 2-0 last night. So I think their bats are going to be ready to go on that sideline. So for the Braves to win, though, tonight, what do they have to do?
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, the Cotuit offense has been a little inconsistent. It's put up 16 runs against Whitey, and then obviously shut out last night against Brewster, but that's a team that can strike at any moment. They have one of the most powerful offenses here in the Cape Cod League this season. We saw that firsthand in the game here when we played Cotuit, obviously the game that was canceled before going 5 innings. And they had scored 5 runs, including a 4-run inning that propelled them to a 2-run advantage by the time all was said and done. But for the Braves to win today, I think, like Daniel said, just going to need better pitching to start this game out. And the offense, obviously, to come out and the bats to be swinging early. But I look for Nick Zawak to do that. Peter Van Loon struggled in the abbreviated game here against Cotuit. But Nick Zawak, I'm just looking for him to get off to an early start, throw strikes, and then give the Braves bats an advantage to give them a lead rather than trailing. And hopefully we can continue to lead and not trail for the first time this season here today.
Well, the Braves look to improve to 6-0 on the season, but it's not going to be easy. A tough West Division contest at 5 o'clock here at Lowell Park. Make sure to join the broadcast, though, at 4:40 before the Bravos, our Braves pregame show. But until then, as always, go Braves.